Can't believe I gotta
Loser.
have this conversation.
If he don't win this year, he's a bum.
What?
I
Yo,
like
that's a Hall of Fame terrible take right there.
No, it's not. It's
Hall
true.
of Fame
It's so
terrible.
true. Boy just choked. Straight women booty and let the ball go.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you.
LeBron James
puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Irving and Curry. One-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
Oh, yeah, but we'll get to explaining and debating in a second. How we feeling, Joseph?
Hey, I can't complain. Sunday, watching football. Chill out. Can't believe we're having that conversation either. How you doing? We back.
We chilling. One parlay did go my way today, so I'm up
So you feeling good?
pennies, a few dollars, making up for the heartbreak of my Dolphins losing on a 61-yard field goal to the Bills. But what's new?
Josh Allen did good for me today on fantasy.
Yeah, Josh Allen did his thing, especially in the second half. But we got the basketball edition of 3 and a Possible today. The NBA season has begun. It's been a fun start to the season. And Joe, this Tuesday, I believe, marks the beginning of the second edition of the in-season tournament. So we'll have those games to look forward to. Hopefully the players take it as seriously as they did last year, because that made for some very, very, very good pre-Christmas NBA basketball.
It did.
And so far, so good to me. I think the game's been very entertaining. There's some, I don't know about surprising teams. Like, there's teams that we knew would have good records that are off to really good starts. There's a team that is off to a real bad start that is starting to have some drama bubble up around them. But we're gonna get into all of that. We'll talk about your Lakers, because your Lakers are looking good and new with JJ's kind of debut as a head coach. And then the Sixers are the Sixers. We're going to get into all of it. But let's start on a positive note, Joe. Who has had the more impressive start? The Cleveland Cavaliers, who are 7-0, or the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are 6-0? Who's impressed you the most out of those two remaining undefeated teams, Joe?
Well, I'm looking at, I had OKC as the number 2 seed in the West, and I had the Cavs as the 5 seed in the East. So based off that, I'm gonna go with the Cavs. Like, I knew they were gonna be competitive and have a good season. I knew they had a good backcourt. They got some bigs. They got they can play solid defense. My biggest issue was, could that backcourt figure out and mesh together? Donovan Mitchell. It's not a lot of defense from Donovan Mitchell, but when you got those bigs in the paint, you got Mobley, and you can do different things defensively. That helps a lot. And with the backcourt, the way they're finally gelling together, I'm gonna have to go with the Cavs, because OKC has been extremely impressive. They do have a lot of depth as well. They got a lot of pieces. They play great defense. They got Mr. Consistent, and Chet Holmgren looks like he may end up being the number 2 option this year for that team. But since I didn't think the Cavs would be 7-0, I didn't think they'd be the only team up there that looks like they can compete with the Celtics this early in the season. So I'm gonna give it to the Cavs instead of OKC.
I believe they do have a win over the Celtics as well.
They do.
I'm gonna go with more impressive being the Thunder. I would say the Cavs, kind of what you're saying, feels like they are more surprising, which I would agree with. I think the Cavaliers have definitely been a bigger surprise. I did not expect them to start off as good as they started. But in terms of just impressing me, in terms of do I think they can win a championship, I still don't really feel that way about the Cavaliers. The Thunder look good. The Thunder look real good. Like you were saying about Chet. Chet's coming into his own now.
Man.
That if he becomes like that real bona fide star second option and kind of push Jalen Williams to being the third option, the only thing that's going to get in their way, Joe, is if they kind of revert to what they did in this last playoff run against Dallas, where they tried to play a lot of 1-on-5 instead of really sharing the ball. But I think the fact that they're having such success with all of these others so early is going to build that confidence for when the playoffs do come, and maybe SGA doesn't feel like he has to go be this hero for the Oklahoma City Thunder, trust those other guys more and more and more. That's a really dangerous combination because they have a lot of different ways that they can beat you. And that Isaiah Hartenstein pickup in the offseason, I think, is looking at that's going to be a really,
Oh
really
yeah, when he
big,
comes
important
back,
move because you slide Chet more to the 4. I think you save his body a little toll. They've got even another level that they might be able to get to, Joe. they might have
they
another
really
level
do.
that they can get to. So I'm impressed with how they're starting. Caruso, I don't think any of us really thought he would have a hard time fitting in, but him and Lou Dort as agitators
Facts.
is that's hell for a backcourt. That's hell for a backcourt.
They're so deep, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very impressed with the Thunder. They kind of picked right up where they left off. Let's talk about a team that has not been impressive, Joe. At some point, we're gonna have to have a conversation about Doc Rivers because this is becoming way too frequent. But the Bucks are off to a 1-5 start. They are dead last in the East right now. Now, obviously, it's 6 games out of 82. None of us think that the Milwaukee Bucks are not going to be able to figure out a way and get themselves to being competitive again. But just being competitive is not really what the Bucks are going for when they've got Giannis.
Hell no.
There's reports out that are saying Doc Rivers has gained more and more and more control of the front office as well. I just I need to know why. Like why after like what happened with the Clippers, what happened with the Six, like why would you even give him that? But before we get into that part, just your reaction. Obviously, Chris Middleton has not played yet, but
Yeah.
I mean they should be better than 1-5.
Hey, Giannis is doing his thing. I mean, I don't know. Everybody else, I think this is what happened. This is the problem with the Bucks. They got scared because Giannis said the same thing a couple years ago that he wasn't gonna fully commit to the Bucks until they show that they were committed to winning. And what did they do? They got rid of their depth and some of their players and went out there and got Dame Lillard and got him another star. When they saw that when Chris Middleton was healthy and you just had good role people players around Giannis, Giannis could put it together. He's still in his prime. He could still do that. But
Yep.
no, they were scared that they were going to lose a star because they're a small market like Milwaukee. And this was a great opportunity because you got Giannis, who's that type of personality who you could think you can mold and keep in a small market. They got scared that he was going to leave because he little dusted it out there a little bit. And now they blew up their roster and now it doesn't work because you got pieces that don't meld well with Giannis. Giannis is doing what his thing, but now the defense is not the same. Brook Lopez isn't the same. The depth isn't the same. You don't have the same amount of shooters around them. Dame holds on to the ball too long, so now those shooters aren't getting better, clean early looks like Giannis would give them. That's the problem. I'm just saying, you don't have Holiday anymore to cover up some of your mistakes defensively. You just don't not the same team, and all you really have is Giannis. You messed up your team, and now y'all got to try to figure out this chemistry with Dame Lillard, who seems like obviously it looks like he's the team killer. To be honest.
Yeah, it's not a good look for Dame. The thing that really put the whole thing in hell for Milwaukee was when they made that trade to get Dame. That Portland then turned around and flipped Drew Holiday to the Celtics. that was just a killer for them.
Mm-hmm.
But if we keep this focused on Milwaukee, they are now a team without an identity. You have
That's
Dame,
the way to put it.
who is a guy. He's a gunner. He's going to get you points. He's going to have a bunch of hot nights. He's going to put up a lot of points, a lot of shots. Their whole identity prior to getting Dame was they were a defensive team, and Giannis was so much of an issue for teams to have to guard him. Teams had to. Remember back to the bubble, right? Like when the year before the bubble when Toronto won. The whole thing was build the wall to beat Giannis and just
Mm-hmm.
dare that his teammates can make enough shots to beat him, right? Because at the end of the day, you knew Milwaukee was going to play defense. They were going to lock up. Chris Middleton was kind of that guy that would try and create for himself at the end of games. And it was a really good system. They just had a really uninspiring coach in Mike Budenholzer that just did not adjust well to what other teams are doing within a series and
Facts.
for damn sure within a game, right? But the identity of the team was fine, was perfect. when they brought in Drew Holiday, that was the final piece. That was like the Thanos meme where he puts the last Infinity Stone in his. It unlocked the entire thing. You have a good offensive creator at point guard, the best defensive guard in the entire NBA. They were hell to play, and some of their runs they ran into some. It took Jimmy Butler going crazy for a series against Milwaukee to knock them out one year, right? Like, or 2 of the years. Like one of the years they won the championship, right? Right after the bubble. Like, it wasn't like the team was broken, but like you said, Giannis puts it out there. It's like, look, I don't want to just be stagnant. I don't think that meant blow the goddamn team up, though.
Right? Exactly.
Like, that didn't mean get rid of the guy that's been like the final piece and helped us win a championship. And now he's playing for Boston. And it just looks like, I mean, if I'm being honest right now, Joe, I don't really think Milwaukee can beat Boston in a series. I have zero faith that they can do that in a series.
I don't either.
And that's crazy because that was what the move was supposed to do. They were supposed to be the juggernaut, and now they look like a hopeful. But you kind of teased it a little bit, Joe. So what started this whole drama was Giannis maybe wanting out. Well, now there's really some drama bubbling because now there's insiders that apparently Giannis has been talking to some other people, kind of putting it out there that with in the next year or so, he might want to make a move if this continues to not go very well. He named 2 teams. One team, of course, is going to be Miami Heat, which means he won't end up on the Heat, and I'll get my hopes up again just to be let down. The other team is the Brooklyn Nets. So, Joe, what do you make of this whole Giannis situation? Him saying he might eventually kind of want to get his way out of Milwaukee.
If he goes to the Brooklyn Nets, it's 1,000% business. Like, Brooklyn would make, that's all it would be. It's like post-career business opportunities. Giannis is not the nice guy that everybody thinks he is anymore. Giannis is NBA superstar. I get what I want, and you're gonna give it to me, or I'm gonna throw a fit until I get it. And that's what he's gonna end up doing. And Milwaukee, I mean, it's a small market. You had him for this long. You should be happy that you kept him for this long. He's destined for better things. If I was Steve Ballmer, I'm going for Giannis. Like, you got this brand new stadium, and you guys have nothing. If you can find, you don't have any draft picks though. So like, you're gonna have to spend money.
You know who needs to make the call, Joe? We want to talk about Western Conference.
Need money.
Call. I'll send you Kuminga, Moses Moody, whatever first round pick you want. If I'm Golden State, I am making
That's
that
a great
call.
point too.
I'm like, what you need? What you need? You can have anybody but Steph.
I don't think he's gonna be in the East.
Because
right.
You put those two together. Hey, Steph might get him 5.
I don't think he's gonna be in the East. I don't think he'll be in the East.
The only way he stays in the East, in my opinion, Joe, is if Milwaukee decides, you know what, Giannis did stay with us for a very long time, and they try and do right by Giannis. That's the only way.
They ain't got money like that. It's not happening.
I'm just saying, that's the only way, in my opinion. If you're the Milwaukee Bucks, that's the only reasonable excuse that he remains in the East, because you're just trying to do good by him because he brought the championship to Milwaukee after such a long drought. Anything else, bad business.
He's gone. And nothing you can do about it.
And obviously, you know where I want him to go, but like, if I'm the Bucks, there's no way in hell I'm giving him to the Miami Heat.
Nope.
I might acquiesce to Brooklyn. I might acquiesce to Brooklyn because whatever. I don't know.
They're not going to win. And you're going to get a lot of picks. You're going to get a lot of stuff here. That's about it. But
do you actually think he's going to get traded, Joe, in the next year?
No, not in the next. What's more tradable, Dame's contract or Giannis's contract?
Well, but that's the thing, right? Because if you do trade Giannis, you got to trade Dame too, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Why would you keep him?
That's what I'm saying. Like, because if you don't trade him, he's not. Yeah, that's not gonna work.
And the thing with Dame is if you wait that long, like if you wait a year, that's another year older for him. Because remember, he was not a one and done guy out of college, so he's a little older than his other 2012 classmates.
Another year,
and then you're trading him. You're trading him because it went so badly. So then, like, what's another team is like? Well, yeah, it sounded good when he was in Portland.
Utah.
We saw what happened when he came to your team, and I don't really know that I want to give up a ton and take the risk that apparently seems to be associated with Damian Lillard. So I feel like if they want to make a move, or if it's going to get to that, they need to make that move at the deadline. I don't think they want to wait till the offseason and have a failure of a season and then try and you'll be able to give away Giannis. Giannis, it won't matter, but you'll get, I think, considerably less for Damian Lillard.
Oh yeah, Dame's gonna be tough. I don't know who wants Dame right now. There's only a handful of teams that will probably take Dame right now, and they're probably not in the contention.
Joe, I'm telling you right now, like,
but would Dame want to go there?
If Dame became available, I don't know that I'd even want the Heat to go after him.
Yeah,
and I wanted him the first time around, but like, I can't say that he's would have done any better than what Terry Rozier has done when he's been able to play for the Miami Heat. And it's a lot. You don't have to change your offense as much. Like, you can still run through Bam and Jimmy and all that. Still have Hero and Robinson and all these others that you kind of need to fill out a championship roster. I don't know if I would. I really don't know if I would want him at this point.
I don't even think with Jimmy Butler. Like, would he acquiesce to Jimmy Butler? Because there's times when Jimmy Butler's like, "Hey, this fourth quarter, I'm finna get me 4 or 5 shots off in a row." Like, there's nothing you can do about it. Is Dame gonna be okay with that?
I mean, I think if there's a superstar that could do that, I think Jimmy is a good one, just because Jimmy doesn't really care about scoring like that. Like,
but in the fourth quarter, when it's game time, he won his 4 straight shots in a row. He gonna get them. He gonna say, "Fuck Dame." This my team.
I don't know that Jimmy wants to do that. I think Jimmy feels like he has to do that right now on the Miami Heat. Like, if he had a guy like Dame, I don't know that he would have an issue. Sure, go ahead, do your thing, Dame. Let's get you a matchup. Now, Dame misses 2 or 3. I think he's gonna bring it this way. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who would want, or what the best fit for Damian Lillard would be if he moves on from Milwaukee. But let's talk about your Lakers, Joe.
The bench.
Oh, shots fired right there at the end there, Joe.
Hey, if Russ had to go through it, why can't he?
At
least Russ gonna give me more effort.
Facts. You're kind of spitting right there, Joe. You're kind of spitting right there. 6-man Dame Lillard, maybe? I don't know. Too early for all that. Let's talk about your Lakers. Lakers are off to a good start, 4-2. They're probably most impressive. Well, they got 2 impressive wins. They got an impressive win over the Timberwolves, and they have an impressive win over the Suns. So both of those are impressive. They are the Suns' only loss on the season. The Suns did come back, I believe, and win the next night. So they've split 2 games, which I think is kind of BS scheduling, NBA. Why are we wasting 2 of those games already? But that's another story. Tell me what you do or don't like about your Lakers so far, Joe.
They're playing basketball. There's ball movement. People aren't standing around. JJ Redick's influence is definitely on the game. That what was that little podcast he had? You can tell that he was going to be he's going to be detailed to the game, and you can tell that. And Anthony Davis is the key. To be honest, LeBron has had maybe 2 good games. If we really look at the stat line, I know the man damn near 40 years old, and 21, 6, and 5 is good, but that's not LeBron. That's not the LeBron we're accustomed to. He's only had he had 1 game like that, really, where he just went off in the fourth quarter and scored that 16 points or whatever, 13 points in 4 minutes, and then didn't score nothing else after. Like, that's the LeBron we have to get used to. And AD, can he keep it up? And hopefully if JJ Redick can keep this up, and the way they're doing ball movement, others getting involved, I think that the success can happen in the regular season. I'm just concerned about the postseason, the health and mentality.
Yeah, I think this is the beauty of it, though, Joe. I think LeBron has shown he can tap into.
Oh, if he needs to,
that LeBron, right? He can tap into it. But this is, I think, what I would
imagine
in
5
Lakers fans like yourself have been kind of. I guess you're more of a LeBron, but in general, people rooting for the Lakers with LeBron James on it. This is kind of what has been desired. It's like, all right, Anthony, you're the one that's only 28, 29, 30, 31 now. Like,
keep it up.
You're the one that needs to carry through the regular season. Don't make old ass LeBron carry the Lakers through the regular season. That's not what we need him to do. We need LeBron for May and June. That's when you would want LeBron James, right? I think this is going to allow that to happen. I think if they can continue to run this offense in the regular season, then when we get to the playoffs, all right, LeBron, let's put a little bit more on your shoulders now that it's time. But this is the way that the offense should look. Run it through Anthony Davis a lot. But even when we say run it through Anthony, it's not like they're just running 2 or 3 screens to get Anthony Davis a favorable matchup and say, okay, Anthony, go to work and get you a bucket. Right? Like that's not what the Lakers are doing. The Lakers are just running very, very good offenses. They're using cuts, they're using good sets, they're getting Anthony Davis in advantageous situations, but he's making good plays out of it. Austin Reeves has had some good games so far. I know he got banged up, I believe, in the Lakers last game. Rui Hachimura has had a good start to the season. I mean, it's allowing
got his first
every
bucket against the
in a
Cavs.
blowout loss to the Cavs. Yeah,
But he got his first bucket against the Cavs.
Yeah, that was cool.
On the baseline, did the LeBron.
Yeah, it looked real similar. Looked real similar to LeBron's first bucket. But I don't know. I've been really impressed with the Lakers have looked so far. And Joe, we talked about this, I believe, even when Devion still decided he wanted to be a part of 3 and a Possible. We talked about it with him, and this is what I was telling y'all. I was like, I think it's a good kind of home run type of hire for JJ Redick. It's either going to fail spectacularly or it's going to be a great success. It was hard to imagine that this couldn't have this would have been just like an okay thing. It was either going to be okay, he's brilliant, or he has no idea what he's doing. So far, it's looking more like brilliance in the hire of JJ Redick, and I think
brilliance so far.
So far,
we'll
6
see.
games.
We'll see if they start losing a couple games in a row. See how he adjusts.
Yeah,
see how he adjusts when
like
Anthony Davis comes out and starts playing ass for a game. No, this is what I want to see. Anthony Davis has like a 20-10 first half, and then in the second half, he starts that third quarter super slow. Does JJ Redick time out and find a way to turn it around, get him some easy buckets, and get him back into the game? Or does Anthony Davis finish with like 7 points, 0 rebounds in the second half? Which
Anthony Davis does.
End up with 27 and 13, but he had 20 and 10 in the first half. You're like, how did that happen? And he played 40 minutes. How did that happen?
Yeah, AD he does have a way of doing that. He does have a way of doing that. But I just think it's going to be hard, though, Joe, because he has to touch the ball. The way their offense has been flowing right now, he has to touch the ball so much. It's going to be hard for him not to get shots up. He's just going to keep getting previously it didn't run through him as much.
True, he was
everyone kept saying, "Oh, it needs to go through Anthony Davis," but the offense didn't actually run through him. So I'm cautiously optimistic for the Lakers. I think it would be exciting if we could get one more good run out of LeBron while he's with the Lakers, maybe even 2. So rooting for y'all, Joe. Rooting for y'all. But let's talk about the 76ers. PG and Joel Embiid are yet to play. And then if I do recall our last NBA episode, you called me crazy when I had the Heat above them in the standings. I said, I got to see these guys actually play some basketball. I don't believe in them, yada, yada, yada. And here we are. Not that it's a ton of games, but they still have not played any basketball. Joel Embiid, who knows when he's going to return? He's allegedly ramping up. That means Paul George is apparently on track to play. I believe they have a game tomorrow. Whenever their next game is Monday, the 4th, I believe he is on track to play that game. So they might get game 1 out of PG. But here's ultimately my question, Joe, and we'll get to how this affects the 76ers in a second. What happened with Embiid in between the Olympics and the start of the NBA season?
He set his lazy ass on the couch.
I was like, I would be so frustrated if I was a 76. Like, okay, so you did all this, you played in the Olympics, but now you're somehow not. Even though
I gave you $300 million and you couldn't work out.
I was like, yeah, you didn't get hurt in the Olympics, so why exactly can you not play?
No, you know what the worst part is? The worst part is he's that type of person where you just got to throw your hands up. He's never going to learn. He's never going to be a champion. It is what it. Joel Embiid's never going to be a champion. You telling me you spent the summer with all those the best of the best, champions of the NBA. You had LeBron, Steph Curry, KD. You had the best of the best. These champions.
Reigning champion Jason
Literally,
Tatum.
you literally have models of people to look up to in the NBA on how to do it right, not to get caught up in any bullshit. Do it right, just win, play basketball, and be successful on the court and off the court. And what did your dumbass come back with? I'm not gonna play back to backs. Like you didn't get nothing from that experience. You got absolutely nothing from that experience. Most players, when they go to the Olympics, they're around those people. They go, "Oh man, I was around LeBron and Steph, and I saw how they practiced and how they worked out, and I learned, man, I gotta take it up another notch. Like I gotta keep up with these guys." Nope, not Joel Embiid. He's a loser. He's never gonna be a champion, and that's makes sense why Paul George is his teammate. Fucked up. Fucked up. And I had them motherfuckers third in the East, bro.
Something makes sense. Why Paul George's teammate? Yeah, I mean, I share fairly similar sentiments. I mean, of course, time can change. Embiid could maybe have an epiphany at age 30 something, whatever he's going to be. I just don't see it. Like again, at some point I have to see it with Joel Embiid, right? And
right.
I saw Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce talking about this. You know how I don't like Paul Pierce, but they were sitting back on this one. You know I love KG, even though he was a Celtic. I love KG.
He was a Timberwolf.
And they were talking about, they were discussing when it came out that Embiid was not going to play back-to-backs. And the point that they both brought up, they were both just like shaking their head. And I actually find this
makes so much money not to play back-to-backs.
Well, and I actually like, again, Paul Pierce says a lot of outlandish shit, especially when he has to compare himself to the far superior basketball player of Dwayne Wade. But it's not like Paul Pierce was
they were contemporaries.
It's not like Paul Pierce was this guy that took care of his body either. But like
no,
you never heard like this soft type shit where it's just like, I won't play back to backs. Like I get it if you take some back to backs. I'm not saying he needs to go out there and have a goal of 82 games because history has told us that's not gonna work for Joel Embiid. I have no issue with that. But just penciling in, I'm not going to play 13 to 15 games a year is wild to me.
At least Kawhi had an injury reason.
Well, I mean, but Joe, it's not going to guarantee that you're not going to get hurt.
Facts.
Like, okay, if you have a back-to-back and it's your third game in 4 days, okay, fine. Take it easy, or, heaven forbid, scale his minutes down in some of those games. And again, I will continue to harp on this, Joe. Stop flopping and falling down. That's putting more wear and tear on your body than anything. All the extra times you got to get your big ass up off the ground. So yeah, they're.
And I ain't trying to hear it. You tell me if you have a game in Philly and then the next day you got a game in Brooklyn, you can't play. It's not like you flew. It's not like you had a game in Philly and then the next day you had a game in Golden State. Like, bro, like you can try. You're gonna have plenty of rest. You don't have to go far. There's no excuse for him not to play back-to-backs. Now I can say we're gonna make a select few of back-to-backs that he won't play. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
if they said we're gonna manage him throughout the season, I'm cool with that. But just to straight up say I'm not playing back-to-backs is ridiculous.
Right, that's what kills me. It's just like that's a lot of games. Like that's like, I mean, again, it's not
like 20-some games.
It's probably going to be close
18,
to like
20?
a fifth, maybe a fifth to a sixth of their season that he's just going to, nope, I'm not playing. And here's a point that I didn't even get to that I thought was important because Paul George is joining the Philadelphia 76ers. They were talking about, and the Celtics had a lot of continuity, those teams with KG and Paul Pierce. They were talking about just the chemistry and the rhythm of being a team. Like you need that at the beginning of the season. They are just throwing away so many games that we're going to be talking about. Well, in April, I guarantee there's going to be this counting stat. I guarantee it will be an NBA countdown, all the different shows. Embiid, Maxey, and Paul George have played 17 games together. In those 17 games, they're 14-3, but all the other games are blah, blah, blah. So they're sitting in the 7th seed right now, battling to get out of the play-in. They're going to have that dumbass little counting stat on there, how many games those three have played together, and it's going to be purely because they made these decisions to just sit out games just because it sounds nice. It sounds like that might help his knees out or help his back out or whatever the fuck they're trying to help out, his hamstrings. I don't know. I don't get it because it's not like Paul George is going to play all 82. Paul George did have a miraculously healthy season last year for the most part. I think he played 75-ish games for the Clippers last year. Banking on getting that again. He already probably can't play as many games as he did last year, just with missing the first 5 games that they played. So all of this just to get to Joe. I'm gonna give you a chance. Not really, because I'm gonna keep bringing up how you had them higher, but I'm gonna give you a chance right now. A new assessment of the Philadelphia 76ers for the 2024-2025 NBA season.
No, fuck it. I'm gonna keep him as a 3 seed. Fuck it.
Wow, double down.
Yep, double down. Embiid was dropping 50 when he was healthy, when he was playing. Paul George was nice with the Clippers last year when he was playing.
I hear you trying to convince yourself.
I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it. It's only 5 games, whatever, dog. The Cavs haven't lost a game, so anything can happen. Just saying.
Shit,
Without LeBron. So
I think I would pick the Cavs if those two are playing right now. In a series for the playoffs, I think I'd pick the Cavs of the 76ers. I think I would.
Yeah, because you don't know how the 76ers are going to look. You haven't seen them yet.
How many times we get to see him?
Yeah. I'd take Maxey over Donovan Mitchell.
I'd take Maxey as a number 2 or number 1 option over Donovan Mitchell. I don't know about Maxey, the 3rd option, over Donovan Mitchell in, I guess, first option. But we'll see. All right, Joe. This is kind of a quick one, but not that much has happened
so
far in the NBA season. But you know how we end this show? We choose love. We choose violence. What you got, Joe?
I was gonna choose Joel Embiid as my violence, but I kind of just shitted on him, so I don't need to shit on him. I don't need to double down. I'm gonna give love to JJ Redick, man. I'm gonna give love to JJ Redick because I shitted on the Lakers so hard. I said we got a dookie who ain't ever coached nothing but little league basketball. He don't know how to coach basketball. He just gonna jump right up to be with the Lakers. They trying to turn him into the next Pat Riley. He got them boys playing basketball, and it looks so nice. It's so much like watching the Lakers games the last couple of years used to be so frustrating to watch because you just see so much talent, and then you just see it just be like just not working, just frustrating, ugly shots. There's so many stretches of basketball where they don't do any ball movement. It's just ugly basketball. It looks horrible. And it's usually in the second half. And I was watching their game against the Suns, and they were down, 10, 11 points at halftime on ESPN. And Bob Myers said, this game's not over. And Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. Smith said, no, this game's over. They're not coming back. And what they do? They came back and won that game, and I said, oh, it's a new day. I said, it's a new day. JJ Redick that came through at halftime, made some adjustments, and they won that game. I felt good about that because if it was last year and they were down at halftime, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And all I can do is think back to Darvin Ham when he was trying to write a play and he just kept erasing it, wrote something down and then kept erasing it, and kept flipping the board over back and forth and didn't know what to do in crunch time. I think JJ Redick is going to thrive in the crunch time. I think he's going to have plays ahead of time to where he's not going to be pressed at it at all. I think JJ Redick is going to be that person that's prepared to where it's going to be the first quarter, 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter, and he's already thinking of halftime adjustments. I think JJ Redick is going to be on that. I don't think he's going to be physical. He may say something and then give to an assistant and say, hey, make sure you write that down because I'm thinking about that. That's the type of person JJ is. He sees things like LeBron does. I guarantee you they're going to be having conversations and thinking of adjustments all the time. And that's something the Lakers haven't had in a long time. It's no longer LeBron's the coach. I think we actually have somebody who's not afraid of LeBron, not afraid of D'Angelo Russell. He's going to get D'Angelo Russell last. I'm just going to give love to JJ because I shitted on him. Man, it looked good early. But we're going to keep it up, bro.
Yeah, we'll see.
They're
I
playing
agree.
basketball.
I think he does seem like he seems very detail oriented. Like very detail. Like it kind of seems like Darvin Ham when it came to crunch time, he was like having to like create what he wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think JJ Redick's gonna have 17 scenarios that he's already planned out for that game if it gets down to the fourth quarter and it's like a whatever.
And that they practiced.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we're gonna go with option 14 here because I think it fits what has been working and not working so far in this game. That's what it seems like with JJ Redick. For me, Joe, I'm gonna choose. Man, I'm torn. I'm gonna choose. I want to. I want to see. I'm torn because I think if I do it, that's setting them up for the usual collapse that happens. So I'm gonna go ahead.
When Duke took the lead, I thought it was gonna happen, and then they just said
Yeah, so I'm gonna stay away from that one.
that defense is so bad. Sorry, go ahead. This is so bad.
I'm gonna show some love, and I'm gonna go to baseball, Joe. You know, I love my Cubbies. I'm gonna show love to Cody Bellinger opting in, staying with my Cubbies, not having to do this whole song and dance like we had to do last off season. Is he gonna come back? Is he gonna go somewhere else? We're gonna have to completely reset because then when you pair Juan Soto right with Cody Bellinger, that lineup's about to be so crazy, Joe. That's what's about to be crazy. So Bellinger doing the easy thing, making an attractive destination. Look, we're just like one bat away from being the team that runs the NL Central and is a real threat in the NL to come out for a World Series. Juan Soto's going to see that. He's going to see the money that he can make. He's going to see how the fans react to players out there in Chicago. Come on, Juan. Come on, Juan. You can't go to the Dodgers. Don't be KD. Don't be KD. You can't be KD. Don't go to the Dodgers. You lost to win the World Series. Got to beat him.
You're gonna go to Chicago. I can tell you something about Juan Soto.
What he would be a Cardinal right now if they just would have traded away Jordan Walker, who is got their real season in the MLB.
No, they wouldn't have got him because he wouldn't have stayed. He likes cities. He likes skylines.
Chicago's got a great skyline.
Because when the Cardinals were talking to him, they wanted to trade for him, and he asked, he was like, "So, what's your skyline living like?" They knew they were out right then and there. They knew they was out. You out in St. Louis, there's nothing. There's Clayton. Shout out Blackjack. That's what I'm going to give love to. Shout out Blackjack. St. Louis is so mad that Jack Flaherty won a World Series. Shout out Black Lives Matter. They so mad that he won a World Series. They so salty, and I love it. I gotta love it.
All right, y'all. That's gonna be 3 and Impossible. Shout out Jack Flaherty.
Yes, sir.
That little storyline. Love that. Good episode, Joe. Good episode.
Man, it was quick. I didn't even